Okay, as you can see, I'm back with Mickey and Irene, Kevin and Renee. They are finishing up their hike on the Pinhoti, week 5 for them. And I came back out here to join them as they finish. It's a Tuesday right now. We're hiking until Friday. And we're on the road. And it's chilly. It was low 40s this morning. It's maybe in the low 50s right now. But walking warms you up a bit. We almost got eaten by a dog. There's a Labrador. One of them country labs though. He didn't like us being there. But what can you do? So we're walking. It's like a 6.5 mile road walk before we get to the first mountain of the day. So we're on our way to, we're gonna hit a Dollar General and then go to a certain point and drop off our light slack packs, pick up our real bags, and continue on. So let's see how it goes. I should also mention that they had rented a cabin last night, and when I got into town and met up with them, they were nice enough to let me crash on the couch instead of post a tent out on the property of the cabins. But if anybody's hiking the Pinhoti and wants a nice place to stay, I think it's called the Brown Door Cabin. The owner's name is Sarah. There's a couple more we didn't meet, but she was very nice. The place is nice. They have a couple more cabins on the property that also look just as nice. Look them up, Brown Door Cabin.
We hardly ever got another site with water on it until we got all the way into Georgia.
Really?
Yeah.
Get everybody in here.
There's a Pinhoti.
Yeah, there he is.
And he just sat there and wait for a bear to come along and get the bait.
Okay, I haven't been doing many videos of talking, barely any videos at all, a couple here and there, but we are on day 4, probably gonna finish a little early, but our first day was like, I forget how many miles. Second day was about 20. Yesterday was about 18.5. Today we're planning 11.9 up to Buddy Cove Gap that they keep saying is quite the climb up to. So sweet. But Right now we are walking to Gannett Poplar, big old tree, I guess the biggest tree in Georgia. But water has not been an issue this whole time I've been out here for my week finishing up with these folks. And yeah, we're gonna get to this giant tree and eat some lunch and see what happens. But made a few changes in gear, brought my cold weather stuff this time, got different sock arrangements because I got blistered up pretty good in one spot on my left foot, and I pretty much avoided blisters this whole time. But it's been going good. This is day 4. Tomorrow we're just gonna have 2-3 miles or so and get picked up and taken back again to Brown Door Cabin. But I guess I did find out that each of those cabins have different door colors. So there's like a yellow door cabin and things like that. So, but would recommend. It was a nice place, but you know, it was pretty good in the tent also all week, except for last night when I punctured the air mattress. So anywho, we're walking, having a good time. Also, a big thank you so far to the Georgia side trail maintenance crews, because there was a couple days the first week when I was out there that had a lot of fallen stuff, and this has been cleaned up pretty well. Some people were saying that there was still fallen stuff we have to climb over further up this trail here, but we're almost done, so I'm sure that won't be too bad of a thing. And yeah. Oh, I should also mention that, let me flip this around. Yesterday, early on in our walk, the dogs kicked up a yellow jacket nest, and I got poked by a stinger. Mickey got one, 2 stings, pretty good. And the other people stopped in their tracks when we took off running, and they let everything settle down. But they got him pretty good. They were crawling on my stuff, but I'm pretty lucky. Oh, don't trip. Where is it? Right there. But I think with this cooler weather, they're not as active, so they kind of told us to get out of there, and they went back to their little hives. So I keep seeing what I believe is claw sharpening stones for bears, because I got a picture of one earlier I'll put up that, to me, in my experience hiking and, well, camping and hiking in upper peninsula in Michigan, they sharpen their claws on stones. I've seen a couple of them, so I think that's pretty cool. But anyway, we continue on.
Johnny, eat too. They're not good. twos.
I got more water to half a mile. That's just
You can tell which one the name is, the short one. She's right here.
It looks like the big vehicle that you have in Armageddon on the
Yes.
asteroid coming out the
Except
cliff.
it's kind of bouncing instead of rolling smooth.
Get everybody. Good morning. So, as you can see, I am off of the Pinhoti. I just got back yesterday. Today is some date, I don't know at the moment. My watch is running for my GPS thing, whatever, mileage tracker. So, got back and realized I didn't do a final portion of the video to wrap it up, but I knew I didn't do that, so I didn't realize it. So I'm back. I'm taking it easy today. Slacking it. Slacker. Anyway, so it was a great week. Kevin and Renee made it all the way. I've got some pictures from the northern terminus. Mickey and Irene did basically all of it, but they went to Cades Cove for a handful of days in the middle of it all. But that's not the point. They did it just as well. So I'm back. I'm hiking up my normal morning loop trail here at the quarry, but everything is still all thrown around the bed of my truck, so I figured I'd just load up a few liters of water in this slack pack and still go for a walk regardless, because training don't stop for the AT, right? So it was a great week. I drove out there last Monday, and then started the Tuesday with slack packing on the road walk, as you saw in the beginning of this video. And I forget the mileages we did. It was like 18, 20, 18 something, and then the final day we were at Buddy's Cove Gap on top of a mountain in a thunderstorm, which is probably not the best place to be with lightning, top of a mountain. Also with a trekking pole tent with aluminum trekking poles. Genius idea. But we survived. Stayed pretty dry. The only issue with my tent that I can tell is the condensation buildup in the tent. When the big raindrops would hit, it would kind of sprinkle on me, and my sleeping bag got a little damp on the surface. So, you know, if anybody has recommendations on how to manage that, shy of carrying a towel with me and wiping down the thing, and also shy of getting a different tent with, you know, the double wall. But long way to go to figure things out, because one other thing I got to figure out is the shoes. I'll show you. These Ultra Olympus 5s. They're pretty good. They're comfortable to walk in. The only thing that bothers me is the first week I was wearing the Injinji toe socks, liners, whatever, and a pair of regular socks, not the darn toughs or anything, but I don't think that should matter. I got some good blisters on my left foot, and that wasn't enjoyable for the first 2-3 days afterwards. So I went on this part of the trail and wore right socks, WRIGHT. Look at this. Pretty nice view. Except for the towers there. What can you do? And so the right socks and my right foot had definitely a hot spot that I ended up taping up, and there might have been a tiny little bubble of a blister that never really did anything, so it's not a big deal, but I can still feel it right now. But the right socks are guaranteed blister free. Right. What's that Tommy Boy quote about the guarantee on the brake pad box? Yeah, if you know, you know. So maybe it's a shoe issue, and I should look into a different kind of shoe. I definitely don't want to go heavy boot style of footwear, but you know, there's got to be something different. I don't want to say better, because the hiking store near us, which is small, the kid that was selling me some stuff there and gave me some tips on other things to buy at other stores, you know, give him credit for being honest. He hiked the whole trail in these, had like 3 or 4 pairs, so it's doable for some people. So I just don't know if it's the right ones for me or what. But anyway, they're comfortable nonetheless, just a couple issues. So let's see, how do I wrap up this video with what we've got so far? You saw some good views. First day was easy, we got good mileage. Second day we got great mileage. The third day was, I think that was only supposed to be 11.9, but I think it ended up being in the 13 range, if I'm remembering right now. So decent, but that was just part of the plan, especially with the end of the day being a very tall climb. Very quickly, it was like half mile of just uphill to whatever the elevation was. But it was great. Once we all got done, as much of a bear as it was climbing, we got up there, had a great time, set up camp in a rocky parking lot. So again, for trekking pole tent people, sometimes you don't always find the greatest spot, even though it's a tent site. I'm learning that. So freestanding tents, there's something to them. So I'll show you real quick where I'm at. They've got this road that you cross over, and they are setting up a Christmas light show that you can drive through, coming up in just under a month. They'll have it open from like November 17th to Christmas, all that. So now it's an obstacle course out here for me and the mountain bikers, who are not thrilled that they're setting this stuff up in the way, but that's for a different video, unrelated to hiking, kind of. So anyway, got up to Buddy's Cove, had a thunderstorm that night. We all survived, and then we only had 3 miles to the northern terminus, and then another about 3 mile walk, a little hike to Jack's River something campground, which was a good place to wait for our shuttle, with Sarah at the, I found out it has an actual name that I can't think of at the moment, but at the cabin place she was also a wonderful shuttle driver as well. So I'll find that information and put it in the description because they were great. I would recommend them. So anyway, I'm back. It was somewhere between 45 and 50 miles altogether from Tuesday morning till late Friday morning for me. They hiked obviously Monday on the road all day and got more mileage, but this video is about me. So once we got done, I went to visit my aunt and uncle in Georgia and stayed there for a couple days. And then on my way back, I met all of them at the Cracker Barrel in the town that they live in, which I'm not gonna put out there. Morning. And here's another obstacle, caution tape. So anyway, it was nice to see them once more before the trip was over. They were all settled back in to regular life. I think Mickey said he's gonna join me for a little section next year on the AT, because him and his wife have section hiked each part or in each state, and there's a spot that he didn't hit that he'd like to see, so he says he'll join me out there. It'd be awesome. And Kevin and Renee are now officially hikers, through hikers for the Pinhoti. Renee says she's done with long distance. We all are calling her bluff because she did that no problem. Kevin did that no problem. Mickey and Irene did that no problem. Irene had a little spill and has a bruised up wrist currently, but it could have been a lot worse. But she ended up being okay. It was kind of scary because it was a very steep downhill that she was slipping on, but she's good. So we'll see what comes of Kevin and Renee, because I think they've got more big hikes in them, honestly. So anyway, that was a great last section of the trail. I'd recommend that to anybody, especially the part leading up by the Gannett Poplar. Dynamite scenery out there. Felt like a whole different world. The Gannett Poplar is a gigantic poplar tree, largest in Georgia. 10 out of 10, recommend that. Go check it out, especially the area that it's in that you hike to it. So back safe and sound. I mentioned that I punctured the sleeping bag. I put a patch on it last night and waiting for it to dry so I can blow it up. Should be good to go. But yeah, anyway, my next hiking thing, other than my normal morning walks, is going to be somewhere around Bull's Gap, and I've got it kind of planned out to do about 45 miles from that point to the Cheehaw State Park trailhead. So I'm just gonna spend some time at home and then get out there and do a little piece, and then kind of just plan on picking away at that trail until the AT next year, mid-March. So keep an eye out. But anyway, we'll wrap this up, and I'm going to put this video together and hopefully have it up by the end of today, which I don't even know the date at this point. October 20 something, probably. Wonder if I can tell. 23rd. October 23rd is the date. So, hope y'all are doing well. And for those that have commented so far that are going to be out there next year, I'd like to run into some of you. Sounds like with everybody's different speeds and abilities and 0 days and all that fun stuff, that people run into each other regularly and then, you know, walk different speeds, don't see somebody for a while, and then they see them again. So I do believe that I'll see some of these people that are commenting that'll be out there. So anyway, take care. I'll see you on the next one.